A pleasure to chat with you. I just feel like you pop up and I get so delighted. Like I remember when I made the realization when I saw you like in Get Out, and then I was just like, why can't I place her name? I knew your face, and then I was just like, oh, Living Single. I watched Living Single when I was like
A
12 or
kid.
13.
You would have to be even younger than that, probably. But that's awesome.
I've been actually I've been wanting to do a rewatch, so I need to buckle down and just do it because it's been a minute since I've done it. So
Nice.
thank you for the time. Um,
Awesome. Thank you.
of course. I love the show. I watched the whole thing in a day. It was so easy to binge, and it's just kept firing off every single thing about it that I knew that I was going to love. But the thing I wanted to ask you first, in a sort of general sense, I feel like Robert Carlockian comedy is very specific. And I guess I wanted to know that rhythm, that sort of thing that we all love him for. I guess I wanted to know what excited you about this.
Wow. For one thing, I have to give you props for the Carlockian situation. I love that. I think that that should absolutely, there's Tarantino-esque. Now there will be,
Mm,
yeah, Carlockian. I
Carlockian.
was thrilled to be asked to be a part of the cast, not knowing exactly the parameters of how much that they had achieved
Mm,
in terms of their comedy, especially when it comes to mockumentary.
yeah.
And I met Robert Carlock and Tina Fey and Sam Means on the phone
Hmm.
after we all decided that we would do this together, and they were so lovely and genuine and just normal people. I had no idea that there was a crazy man living in his head on
Trying to
that
get out.
call.
Like, oh God.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it's absolutely nuts. So when I saw the script, I had a script, but I saw the rest of the scripts were as dense as each one got even denser, and it was a
Mm,
joke every 2 seconds, and so it takes a lot of energy. So I'm glad I took it on. I didn't know exactly what I was taking on, but you have to get in the mindset. There's no doubt.
I feel like there aren't a lot of. I mean, there are, but I feel like they're a little harder to find now, where it's like joke after joke after joke after joke.
Yeah,
It's sort of like,
yeah.
falling over a waterfall. It's really delightful.
I
Um,
love that.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the
Um,
idea that comedy needs to be funny,
God,
that
God forbid.
you,
Yeah,
God forbid, and
God forbid.
they're taking big swings. They're really not afraid to do some of these things, and it comes for experience. But it also, I do think that they look at the team of players they have on hand, their cast of characters.
Oh yeah.
Outside of that, there are the actual actors, and then you start to get used to them and what they can do. So that's what they're lining up, and that takes a
Mm,
second, but they're doing it well.
yeah. Very much so. Yeah.
Hmm.
Um, you mentioned mockumentary. I think honestly, my favorite moment of the whole season is
Hmm.
um when Monica is at the wine bar and you like I think you see the camera cuts to the man that you might go on a date with, and then it cuts to you spitting wine back into your wine glass. And
Yeah,
just thinking about it makes me laugh. But I guess I
I
wanted
love
to know.
that.
Yeah, it's great. It's physical. It's something we
It's
have.
funny because again, that was a thing where I thought, okay, we'll go there. The guy will nod. We'll see
Hmm.
that that nod was his dead head, losing its human animation, and he falls to the floor. The woman goes, "Don't drink the Pinot Grigio," and I'm supposed to spit it out. And they're like, "Erica, let it pour out of your mouth. Just open
Yeah,
your mouth and let it pour." So I had to time it. So by the time it got that, I had a mouth full enough. So then I would just sort of open my mouth like, and just let it gurgle out, which
yeah,
was funnier.
yeah. There's you. I guess you never think it was like there's a difference between spitting out wine and then just letting it
This
cascade.
Right.
Ugh.
Exactly.
That's
And
great.
the fact that they've considered that is nuts. That's why I said that there's a crazy man living inside of these people.
I love that.
A crazy person,
Yes.
God bless it.
I guess I wanted to ask about Monica's kind of. Do you think Monica had to take a long time to get comfortable to the idea of a camera being on her?
Yes, because Erica did.
Oh, really?
Yes,
Okay.
I couldn't separate that. And I had, for many episodes, I would go up to Robert and Sam and I'd say, I actually don't feel like I know what I'm doing yet. And
Mm,
they're like, Erica, you're doing fine. We let you know. And I said, yeah, but no offense to you and due respect, I kind of need to feel it. And I
yeah.
think you'll know when I really lock in. All I know is that I'm doing a set of things that I'm hoping will work, and I'm trying to not fall back on my old quirks and any of my old ticks,
Mm,
because that's not what I want to do. I don't want to be Max in another show. I want to
yeah.
be her. And I have such a propensity to want to be the one who stirs Max got to stir the cup and be
Yeah.
more like where Rusty is. And I don't get to do that. And that's a weird feeling. So
Mm,
I did, and then the camera thing, looking at it when I've been trained my whole life not to.
not to look.
Me and
Yeah.
Daniel were like, okay, this is odd. And so, by the way, Bob even said, he says, I went back to my other job, which is a drama, a mystery, whatever. And he says, and I was looking at the camera, and they're like, Bobby, why do you keep looking at the camera?
Just knock it off, Bobby.
Knock it
Yeah.
off. So yeah, so it takes a second. It
Yeah. I
takes a
guess
second.
yeah, I imagine. And I imagine that kind of goes in line with, I mean, Monica's probably never had to, consider having to like talk about herself
That's right.
that much. That whole
Yeah.
episode, the double Dutch episode is great. And it's just that I think it's kind of, I don't know, I guess that's automatic comedic tension of like drawing something out of a character that doesn't want to
Give
willingly
you
give
anything.
stuff over. That's
Yeah.
that's really fun.
And that was fun to play with Daniel because,
Mm.
Daniel's first comedy series, a network comedy series, is a big deal. He's a very famous cat. He's got so many people who know him as this, titular character. And I have the same issue. And Tracy Morgan comes with his baggage.
Hmm.
We all are coming with a certain amount of things that the last thing we want to do is talk about ourselves. And as characters, and him asking Monica that question because she's a rep, she's an agent, she's used to being in the back.
Yeah.
But again, how to play that, how to
Mm.
play funny when you don't want to give it away, and also they want it to be very grounded. They want this to be very grounded. Ooh, it's a balancing act.
That's grounded, the way that the characters have to be grounded. I mean, and then it's sort of like you have a baseline of how the character needs to be like dropped in, but then also at the same time the editing is very fast and the direction is very fast, but then there's also like these little spurts of people being just like a little wacky, and then they have to bring it back down so we can connect with them. It makes sense in my
Right.
head, maybe it does.
No,
But
but
I mean,
just what you say, but that's it.
mm,
I think that the beautiful thing about being a nerd, and that's what they are, is that they're really intelligent and
mm-hmm,
they know somehow that we've got to fall back into something where the audience, any person can recognize that this is a real family and it's
mm-hmm,
not just a bunch of people going bonkers and trying to outdo each other, that we need to find a way to have a harmonious composition. And I
mm-hmm,
think about jazz in that way, where everybody can play their own thing, but when it comes together, it feels
mm-hmm.
good and it's harmonious, and but it's also got some, dissonant tones in there,
Sure.
and there's Tracy out there, but it all makes sense.
Mm. The fact that, like, I mean, that basically reminds me of how you Tracy and Daniel can do your own thing, and then you mix it all together, and it's just like, all right, let's play some music, let's do it. um
Yeah, that right there is also not giving way to ego, because I
mm,
think everyone, it could feel like, of course I could headline a show, I could be a marquee
sure.
player in a show. And at different points, they both have. I have not in the TV realm.
Mm,
Um, but you don't get the opportunity to be an ensemble in this way. And that is like being on the Yankees. Tina Fey's a big deal.
Hmm.
She's, lifted many people's careers. And
Yeah.
so is Tracy. Tracy's a perennial. He's one
Hmm.
of the most successful people on TV. And I don't need to go on and on about, say, Daniel and say Bobby Moynihan, Precious and Jalen are great. It's new. And
Hmm.
yet we came through the door wanting to give, wanting to be givers, but also knowing what we bring, which is it's not being modest. It's sort of saying, okay, I'm playing with people who know how to hit a ball, throw, and everything. I
Mm.
just got to make sure I stay healthy. That's it. So I
Yeah.
can play in the game. So I can play in the
Yeah.
game.
I mean, I always think that in a way, like I never say this is just in general. I guess in life, I always feel like I was like, there's not. I think sometimes there's a sort of people sort of don't want people to admit that playing on a team is a really good thing and you can bring your own strength to it. I feel like some people want be like, you have to say that you're a leader at doing something, and people can lead, obviously, but if you can like
Mhm.
blend and mold and sort of make something stronger, I think that's a whole other kind of strength.
It
Um,
is. And the
mm-hmm,
best groups, we've seen amazing groups from, I mean, I grew up in Arizona during the time where they had amazing group musical artists from Fleetwood
mm,
Mac to the Doobie Brothers and all of that and the Commodores and then they had these great rock bands and
yeah,
they knew how to bring each one doing their instrument, whether it was vocal or otherwise. And it's not only a skill set, it's reaching for something even greater because everybody's bringing their own version of authenticity.
yeah,
And that's why you have the great groups. You have solo artists that
mm-hmm,
are amazing that run or lead groups, but an ensemble, that's that's a very hard skill, especially when
yeah,
you have very strong players.
yeah. And it lets you stretch in ways that you sort of didn't know that you could stretch before. That's really awesome.
Hmm.
Um, One of my favorite elements of this season is the fact that I feel like a show that has these characters, they would automatically make Monica and Brina adversaries, like sort of like the whole season, and they can definitely come into each other's perspective as Monica learns to maybe put a little bit of biases away when it's thinking about Brina. But I like how there's not that tension of them just fighting, and that's not like that at all. I love the relationship between the two of you. I guess I wanted to ask about that and what it was like to play that, because it was just great.
Yeah, Joy, I'm glad you brought it up because it's something that people mention to me that they
Mm.
love, especially
Okay.
women who said, "Oh, we're usually pitted against each other.
Mm-hmm.
We're in competing," and it surprised me that that wasn't the case. And I said, it would have been boring to do that. And I think that again, these people are very evolved. They're
Mm-hmm.
coming from a certain generation, but they've lived beyond their own bias. And the one thing you want in comedy is the right to put bias where it works because it's funny, but
Mm-hmm.
also to remove it because it's more interesting. It's much more interesting to have two different people with different opinions and points of view come together as opposed to, oh, she's young and beautiful, and oh, you're the ex wife and you've got seniority. Some of that
Yeah.
stuff already plays without having to say a word. What's
Mm.
more interesting is they're now going, what dynamic could be there? There's also, more in that, and it's a harder thing. It's a great lift for the writers, but
Yeah.
I like to say I don't want to play that. I
Yeah.
know how to play it, but I was glad myself, very relieved that that wasn't the case.
Yeah, that would be such a cliche at this point. Like we've seen other shows do that. And I was like, we don't need to do that. Let's strive for something different. Something we can start automatically beyond that, and it's already better because you don't consider
Already,
it.
already. I
Yeah.
think that's showing also humans moving forward.
Mm.
Like we're not static. We can start feel in our politics that we're going backwards, but there's plenty of enlightened people who are going to figure out how to put two different things together, like a
Hmm.
Daniel Radcliffe and a Tracy Morgan. and say what's different about them, but what's the same. And
Mm.
by the way, I found that I said, wow, this is an interesting cast. What's unique or similar about us? And I realized that we don't have either, none of us have an inner monologue. We absolutely would tell you what we're
Oh,
thinking. Each one of us as a person has had a different reason to shut down, say less about ourselves, be
yeah.
more, mysterious or that. And everyone's no, everyone lives like they've been resurrected. The boy who lived,
Mm.
Tracy Morgan, who happens to be literally resurrected after
Yeah.
his accident, and Bobby, who has had 9 lives, and certainly me.
Hmm.
We've all come from somewhere over and over again. So we're content with that. We don't need to play games, and yet that's what the tie that binds us is that we're all very honest and
Yeah.
authentic.
Wow. Okay. Do you think Monica's ever going to have a real assistant for a long amount of for a long period of time? I hope she has a different assistant like every 3 episodes. That would be like the best gag.
You know what? I hope she doesn't.
Yeah,
Joey, I
me too.
hope I hope it's just one of those things where she's just like, she's cursed and it's her curse and that's what it is. I love it. The hard part is each one of those people that comes in to plays the assistant is so good. You're
Hmm.
like, "Oh, that'll be great to see what that actor does over time."
Oh
And
yeah.
then I'll look at the script and I go, "Oh Lord, I got a new assistant." But there's so many great players for a featured performer.
Yeah.
Each one gets to come and do their thing. So I love it,
That's
but
a
I
great
also
guest thing. Yeah.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
that'd be awesome.
I miss them. I miss
Yeah.
them. Maybe they'll all come together and sue me or something and
Oh
they'll
my
be in the
god.
courtroom.
Oh my god, that'd be amazing. Um,
Yeah.
before I let you go, I just want to tell you 2 quick things. Well, I guess maybe
Mhm.
3 quick things. The line near the end of the season where you say that you represent Gina Davis, but only for her archery, is incredible. um, Number
Stupid.
two, I guess that's the more jokey thing that I want to tell you. Um, I think it's just so lovely that at the end of this season, the way that Monica realizes that like having her ex-husband in her corner is never a hindrance but could be a strength. I
Mm.
was so like blown away of like, this kind of comedy, the wacky sort of breakneck speed has that kind of emotional payoff at the end. I just thought that was a really lovely thing at the end of the season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe that's also down to say the classics. If you look at I Love Lucy, and I hadn't thought of
Mm.
it till you just said it, that Ricky could be better off with a less wackier wife, but then he wouldn't be Ricky. He needs
Oh, that's true.
that
Mm.
interaction in order to matter. She needs him to matter. And
Mm.
she's devoted to him for, love and because of the friendship and what they've gone through. She's also a jock, so she's inherently competitive. She's
Yeah.
got a son to raise with him. She's looking for his redemption just as much because she bet on him.
Yeah.
And yet, that kind of crazy chaos is something she must need.
Mm.
And so that I think will be interesting to see how she navigates that because it could be very disruptive after a while, especially because you're looking at the time ticking
Yeah.
and saying, what am I going to do with my life? And can I want something different for my life? Can I want
Mm.
something more stable? But right now, we're sort of getting a little window into some of her psychological baggage.
Yeah. I like that she's a character who she knows how to manage and she thrives when wanting to manage, whether that's like a crisis, quite literally managing, or like a chaos. Like her problem solving, I feel like is something that drives her. She's really good at it. Um,
Yeah.
okay.
She's problem solving for Eastern European handball players. I mean, that's a person that's
Even just
she's
hearing you
not
say the
playing.
phrase, I had to wrap my mind. I was like, Eastern, you're what? What?
She's got them all
Yeah,
wrapped up. I
wrapped
mean,
up.
I like that she doesn't give up. And I'd also like that, again, people sometimes feel like they're outside the big show and they
Mm-hmm.
want to be in the big show. And she wanted to when she went for the football player who was a real player. And then Ronnie Ching, her nemesis, comes
Mm-hmm.
and grabs him up. But it's because she forgot. She was embarrassed about Reggie. And
Hmm.
if he had put him up front, who knows? She's that it turned out to be his hero.
Yeah.
But because she denied a part of herself, she lost an opportunity. And I think that's when people stop telling people the truth. That's when they become a shell of what who they really are. They don't know what the person will embrace. But the
Hmm.
truth is, the best version of yourself is to embrace who you are and live that truthfully and not worry about so much about what people think.
Yeah.
Because if you're doing a good job for somebody, then you're a good rep. But we all, like high school,
Mm.
want to be liked and popular. And we
Yeah.
always making these weird calculations that if we hang out with that person, we're not going to be, or if we do that, we're not going to be. But the
Hmm.
truth is, life is short. Do
Yeah.
you?
I'm ready. I'm waiting for you to like bop Ronnie Chang in the face one day. It's just I'm like,
Oh,
ooh, maybe that'll happen. She shows marvelous restraint because I would have gone off way
I do,
before she was.
actually, I kept thinking that as I was reading. I'm like, why is she taking this? That's
Hmm.
the Max in me. That's the Erica Alexander who's like, I would never
Hmm.
take that. And I said, yeah, but she's not you, Erica.
Yeah.
She's Monica.
Hmm.
She thinks this is classy. She thinks that's not how she's going to go. She's going to go high, don't go low. That's hard
That is
for
hard. Yeah.
me
Hmm.
because I'm thinking, are they writing her correctly? And I'm like, it's their show too, and I'll try to do my best to be strong inside of decisions that I would make.
Yeah. Okay. Just briefly, I just want to say real quick, I love Is God Is. Easily one of my favorite movies of the year.
Thank you.
Love when a movie has that strong of a perspective right from the get. Great movie.
Come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
Um.
Joey, it's a good time. Thank you
Yeah.
for saying so. Alicia Harris is a really good person and she deserves
She
the
does.
love and support because she works really hard. But I'm really happy to see that, the cast, Vivica, Janelle, all of those, Sterling, we all came together and in 24 days did our best to make sure that we gave, the world what she intended.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Thank you so much for your time. Truly a pleasure. Thank you so much for being so generous with me.
Thank you.
Have a good rest
I
of your day. Thank
appreciate
you.
you. And
Yeah.
indeed, you too. Thank
Thank you.
you.
All right.
Appreciate you.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.